Hey guys, Ryan from Spyker Workshop, and today I'm going to show you how to assemble the upgraded steering kit for this stock Armor Hobbies 1/6 scale German half-track truck, the 250 size. The stock setup is kind of poor for converting it to RC. Here's some of the stock pieces over here that it comes with. Mine broke off the two nubs in that first test run video that I was doing, so I knew it needed something more beefy. It still doesn't have suspension with my kit. It just makes the actual turning arms a lot stronger. So I'm just going to get started on how you put this together. First thing to do is take out the old steering pieces. There's a couple screws here. And then also you're going to want to remove the plastic parts that were here. I used a Dremel to cut them off and make it flat right here. And then here I have the old stock parts set aside. Some of these we'll reuse, but not most of them. And then here is the kit that you get from me. And the first thing that we have to do is drill out some holes in these plastic parts. So both of these parts, all the holes on these parts, need to be drilled out with a 3/32 or about a 2.5 or so, 2.4 millimeter. So all these holes here, all the way down the middle. On the printed part they're kind of hard to see, but if you flip it over to the back side, you can see where the hole should be. And then on this there's these 4 and then 2 on the bottom. Kind of hard to see, but they're on the ends and they go all the way through. So I have these drilled. And then using the same drill bit, we're going to come in and drill the 3/32 bit through the ends here. And then once you have those drilled, sorry, my camera is having a hard time focusing. There's some support material in here that you have to clean up. Just use a needle nose, pliers, and you can just kind of either spin or push it out of there. Then using a X-Acto knife, try to clean out some of the excess support material in the hole there. So the next holes that we have to drill, we'll be using an 1/8 inch drill bit, around 3 millimeters or so. And we'll drill out these 2 holes on these parts, the top holes on these, and then there's also a hole on the bottom, and drill all the way through. And then also, I forgot, the 2 ends of this should be drilled in 1/8 inch. So there I have these drilled through all the way. So next thing is to take some sort of ABS glue, and then these 2 parts we're actually be gluing on the bottom of this, and you can line it up with the same shape and make sure it's lined up as it's glued, otherwise your wheel will be crooked. But I'm going to glue both of those together. So there I have those glued together. And then the next step is to take one of these nylon washer or spacers that the kit comes with, and I'm going to use a vise to press fit this in here. Don't use a hammer or anything. Here, I'll show you how to do it here. There's a right and a left to these, so when you do both, put one in on this side and then put one in on the other side. And I'm just going to use a vise. Doesn't take too much force, but this just makes sure it gets in there nice and evenly. And then wait until it bottoms out, and then it should be sticking out the other side like that, or flush, I mean. So then I'll do the other side, but opposite. So here I have both of them here. You'll notice that one side has really rough looking posts here, and that was from support material as it was printed. So the cleaner side should be what faces up when we actually install it in the truck. So next thing we need to do is we can get them on the actual wheels. Some of these wheels though, these crack really easily, so I made some reinforcement spacers that you put over these, and you might need to use a knife and just trim up the inside of these wheels, because when it prints the bottom is slightly thicker than the rest. And in this I'm going to use either super glue or even epoxy to hold these in place. So I have both of these glued in there, and the gray part should just be sticking up just slightly. The black part should be below it. And then to get these on the wheel hubs here, we're going to use these long screws the kit comes with a washer, and then we'll put that in through the front. This way actually. And then this nylon part is what the wheel will actually be riding on. That goes all the way in there, and that's the new axle basically. And then on the end, your kit will come with two small plastic washers, and these go on the end with a nut. And then when you tighten this down, you want to leave it so your wheel, like this, it doesn't go tight, you know. You leave some slack in there so the wheel can spin nice. So I'm going to do the same for both. So I have both of those installed. Next thing to do is take these are the stock steering arms that the truck has installed. And you want to take all this stuff apart like this. And in my kit there's these black square washers. These things will be fit over these shafts with that part that interlocks there. Goes down in that hole. And then these create space for the part that goes in the top. And then this part is normally installed with these nubs facing up, but we're going to flip this upside down and put this over these. That way there's a larger space here. Then we're going to take our wheel hubs here and put them in on each side. And then this steering lever will connect using these smaller screws with two washers. So then the steering works like this here. And then I forgot about these larger washers also come with the kit. And we're going to use the large screws that are remaining with one of these washers. And then this will be screwed down on the top and bottom of all the wheel hubs. So here I have all of the hubs screwed in like that. And you can see there's a lot more strength to these compared to the stock ones. The nylon shaft that we're using is actually a little bit flexible, so it should be able to handle, you know, if you go over rough terrain, or yeah, you know, it just has a lot more strength to it. So then on the steering arm, there's 5 holes that you can pick from when you're lining up for the servo arm. And the kit comes with a control rod arm. So to use this, you take the ball and get it in the control arm like that. And then I'll take and spin the rod in both of these. So here's the control rod assembled. And then next, the 3 mounting holes that are on this stock part, we're going to take that 3 32nd inch end mill, or drill bit again, and drill those holes out to be this size, because the kit from me comes with replacement screws. So I'm just making those holes able to fit my new screws. So then we're going to put the whole assembly back in the truck. And I'm not going to screw it in yet. For now, we need to get the placement of the servo holder. So this whole part is where you'll have to do some kind of experimenting to see where your servo will line up. The kit will come with a bracket for a standard size servo, but you guys, if you want to use something like a bigger servo, you'll have to build some kind of mount yourself. But these servos are 10 kg strength rating, which I think should be plenty for just steering this truck. So to install this, we're going to use 4 of these small screws here, and screw them in here. And also make sure the servo horn comes out of the right side like this. And depending on what servo horn and stuff you have, you'll probably want to install that now and get the servo centered. So if you plug it into your electrical, your RC system to, center it, and then put the servo horn on. And then the way to actually get it mounted in the truck, you'll probably want it centered with that hole, and make sure your servo horn actually sticks down below there. And then take that same 3 32nd inch drill bit, and I'm going to drill through these holes down through the hull to get the alignment set up. And then once I have those holes drilled, I'll enlarge the holes so the screw can fit from the bottom. So I have the 2 holes drilled, and then up from the bottom I'm going to use 2 washers and 2 of those screws to actually screw it in. So here I have the servo installed, and I have the radio system running. You might need to trim away some of the plastic on the ends to make sure it doesn't bottom out like that. And also, you'll probably want some sort of extended long servo horn for it. The standard one didn't quite reach out of the hull, so I'm using this longer one here. So now once we have that ready, what we have to do is, using this control rod arm, we're going to want to screw a hole in the servo horn that can accept a screw to connect that. And then it'll be probably a little difficult to see on camera here, but I need to line up one of these holes and adjust the actual screw length of this. So when the servo's centered with the mounting kit up, or connected up here, that you want the wheels straight. So it'll take some fine tuning to figure out what hole and what length of rod to get the wheels straight. I'm going to do that all off camera here. So here I have the truck flipped over so you can kind of see what I was talking about. I didn't screw the axle in yet. It's just kind of sitting here. But you can see I screwed in the other end of that control rod arm over here, and then I need to adjust adjust the length of that control rod arm so it matches up with one of the holes on the servo, and then actually screw it into the servo. So you can see I have the other end of the arm attached to the servo there, and then when I get it placed here, you can see the wheels are pretty straight. And like I said, it will take a while to get it lined up. One way you can adjust the arm length without taking everything back apart is like literally just twist the whole assembly like this. So like unscrewing it will make the arm longer to adjust the center point. You can also trim it on your radio, but you'll want to get it close with this before trimming it. So then once I have it where I want, I'll flip the truck over. And then I'll use 3 washers and 3 of these small screws here. And those will come through these two holes and then the one back here. And make sure like all these plastic parts are lined up with these holes here. So now that I have everything screwed back together, you can see that it's working. Let me just show you the range of it here. And you'll probably have to fine-tune your trim setting on your radio, and you might even need to readjust what hole or what length of that just to get everything straight, you know. So yeah, that's it for the assembly. I'm going to take it outside and drive it around and show you it one more time outside. Okay, so here I have it outside. You can see with just a standard servo also that it doesn't really have any issues turning. Its turning radius would be a lot sharper if I was mixing the motors, because I know some people mix the motors to turn at different rates, but right now they're set just at the same fixed speed. Yeah, it looks like on one side I have it set turning too sharp and the wheel is actually catching on the hull. The way to adjust that, if you don't have endpoint adjustment on your radio, is you could move the screw up farther on the servo horn. That way it doesn't actually steer as far. Or you could just, steer less on the controller. But yeah, so this whole kit makes the steering on this thing a lot stronger. I would break the wheels off of the stock ones when I was doing reverse turns with steering, because it would actually be trying to pull that front wheel backwards. But this one's a lot stronger now with those nylon bushings. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think, and check out all the links below where you can get these. I also sell the tracks that are on this thing. Check out my other videos to see what those are all about. So thanks for watching.